Right off the bat, Mindy is going to get run into by a skateboarding Timothy Olyphant because she just can't wait to eat the bear claw she has. She starts off annoyed, but then upon seeing the beauty of the man that ran into her, she lightens up, of course. Interestingly, she doesn't really start swooning, but he definitely gets in her head, especially when he shows off his skateboarding skills and then says,
"That's how good I am at sex."
Welcome back to another episode of The Rank. I'm John, and today we're going to be ranking the next episode of the Mindy Project. Now, if you're enjoying these episodes, or if you're just a fan of the Mindy Project and you enjoy consuming content about it, please consider subscribing and or following. Like the episodes, leave a like down. If you like this, we hit that, what do they say? Smash the like button.
Maybe never say that part again.
Comment or email your questions or suggestions to info@therankpodcast.com. Please also consider becoming a patron on our Patreon site at patreon.com/therankpodcast. Now, today we're ranking the 7th episode of the 2nd season of the Mindy Project called Sk8er Man, and that's Sk8er, so clever. Written by Charlie Grandy and directed by Beth McCarthy Miller. And there are spoilers ahead because this show has been out for a while and you should watch it. It's available to stream on Hulu and probably other places too, but Hulu, it's if you have a subscription, it's there. Now, the whole goal of this is to figure out what is the best sitcom of all time. So to do that, we're ranking every single episode of a series and then averaging those rankings. We're starting off with The Mindy Project, Taxi, The Good Place, The Studio, and Married with Children. Those are the 5 we're doing right now. Today, The Mindy Project. So let's get to it, starting with the Potent Notables.
Potent Notables.
So the 7th episode of the 2nd season aired Tuesday, November 5th, 2013. The Mindy Project increased a little bit, going from 2.7 million viewers to 2.9 million. The Olyphant effect, maybe? You know, Timothy Olyphant's in this. Maybe that's what drew people in. I don't know. Once again, it was the least watched show of Fox's Tuesday lineup. It actually lost 1 million viewers from its lead-in New Girl, which was the most viewed for Fox that night. And as for competition, it beat Supernatural on the CW, which had 2.1 million viewers, which interestingly lost the exact same amount of viewers that Mindy gained. So, I mean, the only reasonable conclusion we can draw from that is that 200,000 people that normally watch Supernatural were like, holy shit, I've got to go watch Timothy Olyphant on the Mindy Project. That's the only conclusion we can draw.
It's only logical.
It also beat Ravenswood on ABC Family, which took a nosedive from last time and had only 1.03 million viewers. Although I would kill for 1.03 million viewers. I don't know if I'd kill.
He would do just about anything.
I would like that. Let's not get to murder. As for the ones it lost to, Trophy Wife on ABC, which had 3.7 million viewers, it feels like Mindy could catch that one. I don't know, we'll find out. But anyway, NCIS Los Angeles on CBS with 14.6 million viewers, and The Voice on NBC, which had 11.3 million viewers. Now, I'm sure you'll all be surprised to hear that NCIS, the original NCIS on CBS, actually won the night with 19.2 million viewers. So on to our next Potent Notable, which will also be our last. Timothy Olyphant was the guest star in the episode. And if you're wondering how Mindy pulled it off to have him on the show, it's because Olyphant reached out to Mindy requesting to be on the show. And easy enough, right? This is what Mindy said about it. The thing is, when we get them, we're getting guys we think are really funny who approach us to be on the show. Then they happen to be really cute. But it seems like I'm just spinning a wheel of the best looking guys I can find. That's probably the most flattering part of it, is that Timothy Olyphant wants to come spend the week with us. That's kind of nice, right? As for Timothy himself, he said that working as a guest actor on sitcoms is like the best work you can get because it's very little work, a lot of fun, and good money. But he, quote, had the most fun working on the Mindy Project. I could have done that character, that show, for 6 years. That was really enjoyable. End quote. So I have to say, we get a lot of those type of quotes from people that were guest stars on the Mindy Project. I feel like that says a lot about Mindy Kaling and how she ran a show. It kind of makes me like her even more. Anyway, those are the Potent Notables. Let's go to the episode overview. So this is one of those episodes that get thrown into the middle of a season to try to capture more of an audience, right? I say that because it doesn't concern itself with continuity. Not that it's crazy incongruous or anything, but just that it doesn't really care what's happened before and is not trying to build something to next week. It just gives you a flavor of the characters and what makes the show fun and fun. Right off the bat, Mindy is going to get run into by a skateboarding Timothy Olyphant because she just can't wait to eat the bear claw she has. She starts off annoyed, but then upon seeing the beauty of the man that ran into her, she lightens up, of course. Interestingly, she doesn't really start swooning, but he definitely gets in her head, especially when he shows off his skateboarding skills and then says,
"That's how good I am at sex."
What this leads to is a discussion on how picky Mindy is with her dating life, which I have not experienced in this series. I could be wrong here, but my impression is that she isn't very picky at all. What do you guys think? Is Mindy picky or not? If you agree with me, to leave a like. Actually, leave a like if you don't agree with me. That'd be fun.
Leaning on a little thick.
Anyway, it'll come back to Graham, Timothy Olyphant's character, later because she wants to prove that she isn't picky, and she decides to use him as proof. Now, Mindy involves Danny specifically in this because he says that she's picky as well, which turns into a no, you're picky situation. So a Mindy versus Danny thing here, right? So Timothy Olyphant's Graham is playing the proof for Mindy, while Vanessa Bayer's Mary is playing the proof for Danny. So while this is going on, we get a B story between Jeremy and Peter, where Jeremy's dad is coming to visit the practice and Peter charms him, while Jeremy is trying to impress him. We're meant to feel bad for Jeremy for not having a good relationship with his dad, and it works for the most part. I don't understand what's happening to Jeremy. He was a super confident, smarmy guy, and now he's a gutless wonder. It did provide some funny moments though, like having him rip off the leg of a baby doll in front of a birthing class. I mean, that's pretty good stuff. Either way, it's a not very memorable B story that we can wrap up by saying Peter is nice to him and they're friends again. Now, the Mindy and Danny who's pickier rivalry concludes with a double date. Mindy with Graham and Danny with Mary. Essentially, the dinner is Mindy pointing out how boring Mary is and Danny pointing out how dumb Graham is. This all culminates in Graham suggesting that they dine and ditch, which for some reason they all go along with. Not a single chance that I would have agreed to that regardless of peer pressure. I don't think anyone who's ever been a server would ever do that. Of course, this eventually breaks things off, and sadly for Mindy, she doesn't get to have sex with Timothy Olyphant. Sorry, Mindy. Danny and Mindy meet back up at the restaurant and have some playful, friendly banter, and that's how we end the episode. So let's go to the rank. Now, before we dive into the rank, please don't forget to leave a like if you're enjoying this. It really helps us out.
A rank.
Now, the rank is where I rank the episode based on 5 categories: story, acting, dialogue, episode coherence, and character relatability. I rank it on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Then I add a laugh counter at the end where I tally up the amount of times that the episode made me laugh out loud. 1 point per laugh out loud gets added to the score. First category is story, which I gave a 2.25. There's not really much of a story here. It's basically Mindy proving that she's not picky and Danny proving that he's not either as far as their dating lives are concerned. And then a B story about Jeremy not being accepted by his father and a friendship rekindling, I guess, between Jeremy and Peter. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's not great. And the next category is acting, which I give a 4.25. Everyone is really good as usual. Ed Weeks is being put in kind of a tough spot. I mean, he went from having everything going his way and being super confident to being a depressed guy with an eating problem. I didn't find Smarmy super compelling, but this is even less so. So let's go to dialogue, which I give a 4.25. Not much to say here. I mean, it's always sharp and fun. A lot of clever lines in here, but it's been funnier. So that's why I didn't go higher. So let's go to episode coherence, which I gave a 3. I think the coherence of Dr. Reed is lacking because they've really completely flipped his character, and we don't spend enough time with him to understand it. Also, when did he start disliking Peter? Like, why did their friendship need a rekindling? Weren't they just playing a Nerf gun game? Calling Mindy picky seems a little out of nowhere. Also, she's historically been interested in any guy who gives her attention and is mildly attractive. Anyway, this episode felt like a little bit of an outlier for its characters' personalities. That being said, the episode certainly followed its admittedly slim plot. Let's go to character relatability, which I gave a 4.5. So as much as the story didn't really have much going for it and the coherence was lacking, I found everyone really relatable in it. Who can't relate to not living up to someone's expectations or dating someone up for the wrong reasons, right? So that gets us to the laugh counter. So we had kind of a mixed ranking here, some high, some low, but the laugh counter was 15. So that puts the grand total of the episode at a 33.25, and that puts it in the I'd watch it again. As for the series average, it ends up at a 35.25, just barely keeping it in the holy grail. So thanks for listening and or watching. If you'd like to see a list of our episode and series rankings, you can do that on our website at therankpodcast.com. Remember to subscribe, review, and comment. And please consider supporting us on our Patreon site at patreon.com/therankpodcast, where you can get access to all of our archived episodes. Also, like the episode, really helps us out. Please like it if you like it. But I will leave you with this. You know why Timothy was such a great scene partner to work with?
Oh, why is that?
Because he always remembers his lines. I mean, an Olyphant never forgets.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Welcome back to the rank. No, welcome back to another. Starting off good here.
No, we're not.